Hey everybody, Howard here with Easy Blues Guitar Solo number 5, okay? And we're in the key of A minor for this one, so it's going to be a 1-4-5 progression over these chords: an A minor 7, a D minor 7, and an E7 sharp 9, okay? So we're going to be combining two scales together, the blues scale and the natural minor scale, okay? Now, I won't go into great detail about those scales here. You don't need to know them all over the fretboard to be able to learn this solo and practice it and gain something really cool from it, okay? But if you would like to take a deeper dive into what's going on here, you can check out my complete blues rock guitar course. It comes in two parts, and part one starts with absolute beginner material and works your way into an intermediate stage. And then part two is intermediate and up, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'll just play the solo for you. And as always, the first 12 bars is the easiest, and then it kind of goes up a few notches from there, okay? As a note, I'm using a very clean tone, but you don't have to. You can use some gain, some drive, distortion, but I'm using a really clean tone on this particular lesson. The reason I'm doing this is I do some of them with gain and with distortion and drive, and then some of them super clean, because some of you may want to just do this on acoustic guitar, which is totally fine, or maybe you just want to use a cleaner tone. But by all means, make it your own. Dial up whatever kind of tone you want. So as usual, I'll just play the solo, and then I'll break it down for you into individual phrases, okay? Here we go. All right, let's jump right into it, okay? So the first phrase or phrases is this. All right, you can see that on the tab, but let me play it all for you nice and slowly. Okay, and then the next phrase, the next collection is like so. Again, all of that nice and slow. So you can see in this solo all the guitar basics, right? We're working with hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, and eventually bends here as well. So let's move on to the next phrase. So let's just talk about that. What we have out the gate is a simple sweep. I'm barring across the first 3 strings at the 5th fret, making an A minor chord. Just take your pick and rake across those strings or sweep so that the notes just kind of pop out one right after the other. And then we move to the 7th fret like that, okay? And then the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory with the tab, but nice and slow. And then we have followed by. So that bend right there is a half-step bend. It dials into the dominant 7th of the E chord. So let me put that all together slowly. And then we follow it up with this. So let's break that all down slowly, and as a note, this is where we're really starting to bring in that natural minor scale, combining that A minor with that blues scale, okay? So let me play that for you nice and slow. We'll break it up in half, okay? And then we play this. So what we have there is a double stop. How I'm doing this is I'm fretting the 9th fret on the G string and the 10th fret on the B string using my 2 middle fingers, okay? Then place your first finger on the 8th fret on the G string. You might remember this from previous blues lessons, blues solos, but it's always nice to include it again, right? So you hammer from the 8th fret to the 9th fret on that G string. And you do it twice, followed by So let me play that whole thing slowly. And that leads us into the second 12-bar go-around. And as I stated earlier, things are going to get a little bit busier. But if you want to just work on this first half, get that wired and jump into the second one, feel free. But if you're feeling the love, you can just dive right into the second part as well, okay? So the phrases in this next 12-bar go-around will be longer, okay? There'll be sort of more linear flow to them. And that can make them a little bit more difficult to play, but maybe more just to memorize. So just take it nice and slowly, trust that you can do it, and you shall achieve. Here we go. So we're getting into some nice bends here, and I'm way up in the high position of that blues scale. I'm on the 14th fret on the G string, as you can see. These are the fingers that I'm using, but let me do it very slowly with the tab. So let's just take that right there and isolate it. And then we start again, but keep extending the line. All right, so let me play that one very slowly as well. Down that blues scale, okay? So let me put both of those together for you. Okay, and that's going to lead us right into the next phrase. lines and more of a linear flow. But let's take that one nice and slow because it comes off of the tail end of the previous phrase. Right there, okay? So 10th fret on the D string, as you can see. And then we have another sweep, exactly like what we did just a bit ago, but on the 10th fret. Just sweep right across those strings, and that's followed with 12, 13, 12, 10. And if you want to play it like this, feel free, although I encourage you to get right in there using all 4 fingers. And then we play that high lick, that an octave lower, kind of a question and answer thing. Again, slowly. And then we have a very Jimmy Page style lick, if you will. All right. So you can see on the tab what's happening there, but let me explain that hammer on and pull off. So that's a bend and release first and foremost. And then without picking again, pull off to sound the 5th fret. And then come back and pick 7 and 5 again. So you have and then 7 and 5 on the D string, back to 5 on the G string. So let's put that together. And then we walk right down that blues scale. All right, so that whole lick, nice and slow, is. And then we have possibly the longest phrase in this whole solo, right? I'll play it at tempo and then we'll take it apart. All right, lots of hammer-ons, slides, double stops, the whole bit, okay? It's pretty clear to see on the tab, so there isn't anything specifically to explain except to play it very slowly for you. Even slower. Okay, again, probably the most difficult one to memorize, right? Maybe not to play, but to memorize. And then moving on, we have again, now we're really bringing in that natural minor scale and combining it with some blues information. That's all pretty straight ahead. You're picking every single note. There aren't any hammer-ons or pull-offs or slides, but let me play it slowly as well. And those are both A minor triads, okay? And then we come back to that first triad and we play this. Okay, slowly on that one. So what I'll do at this point is run that original performance video that you saw at the beginning with the real-time tab going by as well, so you can really see how all the phrases fit together, okay? Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.